And I told her I don't care if he is her husband. Right now,
It's time to rise from the grave, pour yourself a cup, and enjoy the coffee crypt.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Coffee Crypt. Steve here with you today, and I hope you're having an amazing weekend so far. Just a couple of things I wanted to get on and talk about for this weekend. I got to see Companion, which was phenomenal. We're going to talk about that real fast. And I kind of want to just get my thoughts out there about all the Scream 7 news because it's been a whirlwind this week. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of videos online about Scream theories, all that good stuff. We'll get a little bit of that going, but yeah, this is just for me to kind of open the conversation with all our voices viewers. Yeah, but first let's go with a little bit of movie review. Companion, which was starring Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid, who is my husband's biggest celebrity crush at this current time. And we have Lucas Gage, Harvey Gillum, kind of the core four. I can't remember the actor's name that played the other friend, but she was good too. Yeah, all the performances were phenomenal. Companion. This is a non-spoiler review. I don't want to. It is opening weekend, so I want to give everyone a chance to go check it out. But it doesn't, the trailer is definitely misleading, which I thought was great. They don't really give you a big hint. I only really watched the trailer maybe a couple of times because it was in front of some other movies, but I didn't really want to, you know, overanalyze it because I wanted to go in surprised, and I was, although it's funny, like the big twist, it doesn't tread new ground completely, I will say, but it does it really well. And that, for me, it doesn't have to be completely fresh and never, um, never been seen on screen before. But it needs to do it well. And I think that in of itself outshines a lot of the other films that have tried to do what this film does. And it's super successful. It was surprisingly really funny. I thought a lot of the humor really landed for me. I think a big part of that is the delivery from the cast, and it's really thrilling. It really, really good suspense, really good action scenes. The horror scenes, the chase scenes in it were really well done. Very funny though, with Jack Quaid being in this film. It's not really like Scream per se, but it was really funny seeing him in similar situations and just there were shots in particular that I was like, oh, that looks exactly like a frame from Scream 5. Like if I like if I would have like just seen like that one shot of Jack Quaid, I would have been like, was that from Scream and I'm just misremembering? Like it really, it was pretty close. But I love sort of seeing him do genre work like this. He's a phenomenal performer. Um, but yeah, Harvey Gillen from What We Do in the Shadows. I really love seeing him in this movie. I thought he was great. Again, really funny, really charming character, and just a different kind of character, different kind of environment from what we've seen from him before. Lucas Gage too, like from White Lotus and recently Smile too. So obviously he's getting into the horror space a lot now. He he surprised me too. I really thought they all handled their characters really well and put their own spins on these performances. Yeah, I was happy with a lot of the gore that was in it. It wasn't over the top or anything, but I did enjoy some of the. I think there were definitely some practical effects, definitely some special effects, and I guess it's all special effects, practical versus computer. I believe there was some practical in here that I appreciated. At least it looked real. And I got to catch it in Dolby cinemas. So AMC, they have the special Dolby screens, and it looked beautiful. It's just the colors popped. The colors were vibrant. The black was really black, right? Like it just yeah, and the audio it's just great 80s music, which you're always gonna get me with some 80s music. But yeah, no, I 100% recommended this. I texted my husband as soon as I got out. I was like, okay, this is a movie that you would like. So, so that, that tells you I think this movie has like a wide appeal for sure, even for like non-horror fans. But I think for horror fans, it's good for us too. But I think there's a lot of wide appeal for this film. But I'm super excited to talk about it. Let us know what you think in the comments. What did you think of Companion? Did you get to see it opening weekend? But yeah, and that brings me to the Scream 7 news. So I'm sure everyone knows. So spoilers if you're going completely fresh into Scream 7. Um, and yeah, I'm on record on Voices saying, that I'm still very disappointed in Spyglass with how they handled everything leading up to where Scream 7 is at the current moment. It's such a shame too because I do preach like, don't let, you know, one, two bad people or shitty people like ruin the hard work of others. So, I think I'm going to stick to my guns. I haven't supported Spyglass since. I think what they did was really bad. I saw Thanksgiving through other means and Hard Eyes I plan on seeing through other means. Um, find your way, DM me to, I could fill you in on how I'm doing it. But I don't want to put that out there on YouTube per se. But yeah, so if you haven't seen the slew of returning cast, right? We have Scott Foley returning, which is Roman. Forgot his name for a second. Roman from Scream 3. Matthew Lillard is confirmed to be returning. Stu Macher. I believe it was confirmed. I remember seeing people say that Skeet Ulrich was for sure coming back again as uh, Billy. Why? It's late. I'm filming this late, guys. So bear with me. All the brain farts aside. Yeah, I mean, so clearly we're in greatest hits territory here. I don't know. Listen, we're bringing everyone back. I've been saying let's bring Laurie Metcalf back then because if we're just gonna do something with all the old killers, and big Emma Roberts is supposedly that's a big rumor as well that has not been officially announced as of recording, but I know that's heavily rumored. So the big theory here is that they're going into AI territory, deep fakes and they're gonna try to one up the voice changer because that again, I think a lot of people were disappointed with the voice changer aspect of Scream 3, myself included. I don't think it was used to its fullest, um, extent. I don't think it was a fun gimmick, but other than really playing into the opening kill and then like a kind of, you know, using Maureen's voice on Sydney, didn't really do too much there. I think this would be really cool as a way to throw Sydney off. Obviously get into her head, get into obviously throw off law enforcement, whoever's trying to figure out what's going on here. Really cool kind of aspect. I just wish it wasn't overshadowed by all the crap from Spyglass. But I want to give the creators benefit of the doubt here because Kevin Williamson, I if we're going in a Ghostface cult territory, like he tried with Scream 3, it'd be cool to see a version of that. I think it was rumored that there are going to be more than two killers again. So again, all these spoilers. This is my other issue. Is the scoop culture is it's all out there. It's hard to avoid it, especially if you're in our shoes as YouTubers, content creators, all this stuff. It's like we don't always necessarily want to be. I don't want to be a scooper. I don't get a thrill out of knowing things before people. I don't get a thrill out of like being spoiled. I don't. I like to be surprised. I want to be shocked. Um, but that being said, if they're revealing all these returns, does that mean that there's a lot more in store for us in the story itself? That there's a bigger picture, or are one of these past villains actually still alive? And some of them are dead, right? Like Are they going to reveal that Stu Macher's really alive? And but Scream has always been sort of rooted in reality. Obviously, even within that, there's suspension of disbelief with all movies because it's not real, right? Like it's not reality. It's a produced story for entertainment. This isn't a documentary, right? So we're not trying to, so even within a story, right? There's obviously going to be silly things that wouldn't actually happen that you kind of need to just go along for the ride and enjoy it and not be a curmudgeon, right? You kind of just have to enjoy it. But even so, I think with all the time that's passed since the original trilogy, right? Stu Macher would be a very different person. They'd have to really explain where he was for 20, 30 years. Roman, obviously, I mean, that clear, people have been saying, Stu with the TV on his head, somehow maybe he survived, right? Maybe, right? I mean, I know I heard a story, a CRTV fell on my mom when she was little. It wasn't like, like, I think, she survived. It wasn't like, she'd blow up her face, but if also that was like the 60s, so the TVs also weren't as big as that one. But that being said, like Roman obviously point not point blank, but square in the head. Same with Billy and Emma Roberts too. My Jill was I think shot in the head. Um, which has, I don't think clear. Just and then I think she got shot. I feel like she got shot in the chest. I can't right now. I can't remember. But I mean, it was in a hospital. Everyone was there. I feel like that was kind of a squared away situation, as well. But I really dig this AI thing. I think that's such a cool concept. I love when Scream, really like leans into the stuff. Like I feel like Scream 4 with like the recording of the killings. I feel like that was sort of a missed mark. Like they were recording it, but then yeah, obviously, yeah, they wanted to upload it later. Um, but I guess in 2011, people really weren't like live streaming. Like I feel like they could have been live streaming it, and I don't know, I just feel like it could have been played a little bit more throughout, rather than just being part of the big reveal. That being said, that's a little nitpick. I would have weaved it in the story a little bit more concretely. With five, with like the phone cloning, they like were able to hack into Tara's house and like unlock the front door. But then it kind of stopped there. Like, I think they cloned Sam's phone or something, but like that, it sort of stops there. They don't really go into too much more of like the smart house stuff that was sort of promised in that opening scene. And then with six, it was more of a commentary on like conspiracy theories and like social media and people like, gang mentality, hopping on somebody and like, assassinating their character. Um, so that was a little more social versus tech. So it'd be really cool to sort of see where they go with the AI stuff and really how sophisticated they get with weaving that into the story itself. But I mean, I'm still excited for the movie. Like I said, I'm gonna see it in through other means. I feel like I have to keep saying that. I don't. Yeah, you don't need to hear me say that all the time. But that being said, like do I wish Sam and Tara were back and we really were getting like sort of an ending to their story? It ended in two. Same could have been, but the same could have been said for Sydney in one and two and three and four. You know, like the story can end at any point. It's not like it ended on a cliffhanger. Um, but you could, I like to look to the future. And my only thing is I'm worried of like we're really digging into the past here. Again, right? Three was all about digging up the past. Four was about Sydney letting go and moving forward. Same in five and six, I mean, Sydney was in five, but again, it was about her moving forward and Sam sort of, it's her story and, let's move on. And now we're kind of bringing up the past again and just kind of, I just hope that they do something cool and new with it. Oh, and again, yeah, the whole Patrick Dempsey thing too. That was a bummer. Um, Either way, I mean, I'm open-minded. I think Kevin Williamson, the Scream wouldn't be Scream without him. He's at the helm. That's really cool. That's exciting. Um, and I know he'll kind of carry on the torch, from Wes Craven, very well. It's sort of a natural. It makes sense. But yeah, again, I would love to see this franchise kind of move forward and not, feel too anchored into the past. I hope it's not too much of a nostalgia grab, I guess. Nostalgia's, I don't know. It's the reason why the Ghostbusters movies didn't work for me. Afterlife and Frozen Empire, whatever. Like, they just so nostalgia heavy. Although Frozen Empire was a little bit better than Afterlife with the nostalgia beating. Um, it just doesn't, the member berries don't always work. South Park reference if you're not privy to it. But anywho, what do you guys think about what's going on with Scream 7? Are you confused? Are you excited? What are your theories? I mean, it's fun to theorize. And yeah, whatever. It's Scream. It's Scream. It's like ice cream, right? Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, whatever. It's ice cream. I'm gonna enjoy it. And yeah, let us know what you think. And hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we will catch you next time on the Coffee Crypt. Bye now.